Well, hello, everybody. I know it's Tuesday night and I do my lives on Monday nights, but yesterday I was at my Master Gardener meeting. They have it once a month, and they had asked me to teach how to make concrete rhubarb leaves. And so we did that. So pinned on the top, it's starred on my side, but it should be pinned on your side. And it links to a video that I did, I actually think 3 years ago. And Julie reminded me of it. And so it's up there if you'd like to see how to make concrete rhubarb leaves. So let's say hello to everybody as they're popping in. Now, Ann Dale was here an hour early, so she'll probably pop back in. And Teresa's here. Jake is here. Good evening. Please tell Ann and those beautiful girls hello. Julie's here. And oh, whoa. That's right. Miss Sandy Pants. Doug is here from his way homestead. Charmaine is here too. Hello. Isn't that fun? People just popping in, I tell you. So it was hard to decide on a Tuesday night at 6 o'clock because my friend Tim over at Ridge Life is having a live stream also. You could pull both of them up and you could watch both of them because he is giving away honey tonight. And he's trying to figure out what to name his swarm that he got. So if you can watch both of them at the same time, go over and see Tim at Ridge Life. Tell him that I said hi. I posted a little thing on his live before he started. And there is Ann. Yay. So everybody's saying hi to everybody, and I always love that. So what have I been doing? Today I planted 2 red maples. Now, maples can be very majestic trees. And these ones in the fall turn fire red. So I'm totally excited about that. I have been pampering them in my hoop house greenhouse. And so I decided to plant them today. And they'll get a really good soak because the water goes on tonight. And so they should be good. And another thing I did this week, and I am going to have a little video short about it because I did do a video about it. And it was on how to get hundreds of garlic plants for free. And it's probably 2 years ago that I did that video. And I actually, let me see if I can find it. Nope, not there. Right there. It was how to have hundreds of garlic plants for free. And 2 years ago when I did the video, I took the little boblets because on a hardneck garlic, it sends up the scape and it turns around and it makes a flower. And if you leave those, they make these little, what I call boblets. They're like big seeds, I guess. And so anyway, I planted those 2 years ago in a raised bed. And I was going to just take them back and forth to Arizona. And I did bring some down to Arizona, but I left the ones that I planted there. And so last summer they just grew and I didn't do anything and it was packed in that little bed. And this time I decided I'm going to dig those up. And they're all about, anywhere from a nickel to a quarter. And so I lifted them up because they were so packed in there. And I have these great big tubs. They're for cattle. They're great big and orange. And I planted 6 full ones of those. And they're pretty packed in those. And I didn't even get all of them. So I'm very excited to see how that looks. Oh, Doug, you're just so sweet. And Ann is here too. Good evening, Sandy. I did not realize you were live tonight. Just heard your voice on Jake's phone. Yes, usually it's Monday nights, but I was teaching the Master Gardeners how to make concrete rhubarb leaves. And I just thought, I'll just switch it up and I'll just do Tuesday night instead because otherwise I miss you guys all week. And so now I am in Jam It Up June. And that is a thing that Tony from Kettle Kitchen has been doing for, several years. And I have done it a few times. And so my video comes up on the 9th. So that is the Sunday before my next live stream. And I am making apple garlic jelly. Now, I love apples and I love garlic. And I have made garlic jelly multiple times. I mean, like literally hundreds of times. But this time I'm adding apples in there too. And I think you'll be surprised at how good it is. I wish you'd be able to taste it. That's the bad thing about videos. Unless you make it yourself, you don't know what it tastes like. But it is a very good jelly or jam. It's really, because there are pieces of garlic and there's pieces of apple. So I'm not really sure if I'd call it jam or jelly, but there's a lot of parts of it that is just like a jelly. So you'll have to see that on Sunday. Other videos coming up this week. I am doing the video on hooking my Vigo Garden retractable hose actually onto our house. And what you have to look at and what you have to do, because it has to go into a stud because it is heavy. And so I'm going to do that. And the other thing, I have been picking garlic because I had to do that class. I have so much picking rhubarb, sorry. I have so much rhubarb to pick. I don't even know if my freezer can hold it. I think I might can some of it, like make a rhubarb simple syrup. But anyway, one of the things I'm doing a video on Friday is vanilla rhubarb sauce. Now, it is just like incredible tasting. And in fact, you can literally eat it with a spoon. But you can put it on ice cream and you can put it in cakes and on cakes, in puddings. It's this beautiful red color. It's got the flavors of vanilla and rhubarb at the same time. And if I hadn't told Tony I was going to do the garlic jelly, I would have made a rhubarb jelly. But it's just another video. It'll be great fun. Oh, the Angie girl is here. Is it still raining? Is it still raining at your house? About 30 miles from where she lives, there's a video out on Facebook, and the interstate is so flooded and people are still driving through it. It is craziness. So crazy, crazy, crazy. Oh, and Anne says, it is heavy. Hint, be sure to check out the various spray thingies that come with it to increase the water pressure. I looked at those. So in the video, I'll show all of that. I showed it a little bit when I unboxed it, but to actually hook it onto the retractable hose onto your house, that's a whole nother thing. And so I thought, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. Anne says, you can make Victorian barbecue sauce. I have made that so many times. If you guys don't know what Victorian barbecue sauce, before, in the early spring when rhubarb was up in Victorian times, they would take rhubarb and make this barbecue sauce. And in fact, I have some on my counter right this minute. It is so amazing. The taste, the flavors, you can add it to meats. You can literally put it on barbecued ribs. It is so amazing. Just one second. Says it's going to start raining again, but not a cloud in the sky. Ha! And Anne says, it's a process, but very nice to not have to roll up your water hose. And I'm just so excited about it. I can't even tell you how excited I am about it. So, we got the very last of our bamboo, so I can finish that very back of my greenhouse, because I didn't estimate correctly on how much bamboo I would need. And so that came in today. So we're going to finish that, and I'll just put some pictures up about that, because we did do a video on, because we did get most of it done, but there was just like the back wall, still plastic. So we're going to finish that. And I have a video up that came up yesterday. Let me just show you one little quick thing about it. So my friends gave me this pot. I think they actually made the holes in there, those hexagon holes in there, because they're uneven. So I don't think a machine did that. Anyway, so I planted the strawberries in there, and they're hanging on a shepherd's hook. And today they're much more perked up, because when you pull them out of the ground, and then you replant them, they have a little bit of shock. So that's all there is to it. They have a little shock, and they look very droopy, but it hasn't been too hot, only in the 70s. It was cloudy yesterday when I did it, and I think they'll be really cool. Now, I did have somebody ask me what I'm going to do in the wintertime, because that's a lot of surface area and roots to get really cold. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to just take it off, set it down, and I'm going to pile straw all on top of it, because otherwise the strawberries won't survive. Like when I've tried to do them, it was either last year or the year before, I put them on my deck rail, because I have all these planters that sit on my rail of my deck. And the strawberries grew wonderful, but they didn't survive the winter. And it's because it's just too much cold exposure onto those roots, where if they're in the ground and you got straw on top of them, it's much better. And she says they have really bad internet tonight. Hope you have a great night. Talk to you later. Thanks for stopping in, Ange. That was very sweet of you. But anyway, on my little hanging strawberry pot, 40 plants. It's less than 2 cubic feet, and it has 40 strawberry plants. I'm totally excited about it. Oh, and Julie says that there's a huge outage of AT&T and Verizon. I got Verizon, but I'm not on there. So I hope that on my Facebook it's popping over good, because most people will watch it on their phone. So, but that's technology for you. Mary and I have been teaching her painting for a long time, but every summer I think it's probably a third summer that I go to her house twice a week. And so I wanted to show you what we finished painting today. There it is. It's an owl. Look at those crazy feet. I like it. I don't know what I'm going to name it. I like doing owls. But she finds the pictures of the photograph or the painting or whatever, and she's retired. She's never going to sell those paintings. I don't sell them, because I'm not, I'm just teaching her how to do it. But she just wants to know how to paint different techniques, and so that's what we do. And then we started a horse one, so I'm totally excited about that. But it's cute and it's fun. And oh, Charmaine's got Verizon. She's okay too. Oh, that's a good name, Harold the Hooter. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Yes, it is. So, what's happening else this week? So right now I put it up on my Facebook and I put it up on my YouTube. You can watch or listen. You're not actually watching. You're listening to the podcast of Around the Hay Bale Garden Math. And Anna's one of my co-hosts on Around the Hay Bale. And we talked about garden math in your actual garden. And then we talked about math as a homesteader. So there's 2 episodes. So both parts 1 and 2 are up now. And so I shared those on both my YouTube community tab and my Facebook. But it's really interesting on how you figure out how much, how much corn to plant, how many cabbages to plant. Now there are charts, but we talk about this in our podcast. But you got to really know your family. And so that's an important thing, to know your family, what they like, what they don't like. Are they going to eat that? How are you going to preserve it? There are things to think about. And it was really fun and interesting. So it's very educational, but very fun at the same time, because when you get us 4 together, It is a hoot. And but you learn a lot of stuff. And so I'm just so blessed to be their newest host on Around the Hay Bale. And then on Friday, we have our live. So you can watch that also. And we actually have some. Well, we're going to talk about garden math, and then we always talk about things that are happening in our lives. So it's just kind of fun. So it's been a busy week, and I think that, and maybe you guys can say in the chat too. Don't you think summer is so much more busy than any other time in the year? And maybe it's because we're homesteaders and gardeners and things like that. But it is just so busy all the time. And I find it interesting, but overwhelming sometimes. And Henry Leslie Vermont, hello. How are you? Oh, Anne. No, I'm just in awe that you guys let me be one of your hosts. Doug says spring is busy. Yeah, that's true, because you're planting a lot, so that can be busy. And if you have animals, you have usually babies, so that can be busy. Charmaine says yes, it's busy. Anne says absolutely busy and full. And if you haven't seen Anne's video of her garden on how it's growing, I'm just insanely jealous. She's been able to grow for a while. We just barely started growing, though my garlic is 2 feet tall. That we're at the community garden. It is humongous. Every time I come over there, it's taller. Julie says, I've been making extra projects for myself. Lots of work, but it is nice to see the results. I think that too. That's one of the reasons why I'm a list person. I like making lists of what I'm going to do, what I have to do on each day, and checking them off as I go, because I love seeing the results of it. And so that's just me. I am a list person for sure. Doug says, our corn is almost taller than Shelly. My corn is 6 to 8 inches tall. And it's almost as tall as Shelly. That is crazy. I'm so jealous. But that's what happens when you live in the South. You get to put those in earlier. Anne says, I didn't get garlic in the ground last fall, so that's a project soon. And you can actually, if you have some soft neck garlic, that if you have, where you can get some soft neck garlic, you can put it in the ground right now and harvest it in the fall. Soft neck garlic doesn't have to go through the chill cycle that a hard neck garlic has to do. And so you can have garlic in a couple months, by planting it in the summertime. Because there have been times that I have literally had some extra garlic that I didn't get planted in the fall. And so it's a nice day in the wintertime, or it's a nice day in the springtime and the soil's not frozen. I just put it in then. You don't get as big as of cloves as a bulb, but you still get garlic. And how can you go wrong with garlic? I think about garlic all the time. It's that and apples. They're obsessions for me. Charmaine says, I have potatoes growing in a green stalk. Interesting. I would like to see pictures of that. So I have my little 3 things, they're stackable planters that I usually do flowers in. Down in Arizona, I always do flowers in it. And usually I put petunias up here in them. But I'm literally going to move them over to the community garden this weekend. And I'm going to plant beans in them. And we'll just see how many beans I get out of those. But it won't use very much space. I mean, I have my beans that are my soup beans that are they're already up and they're going to grow over trellises. But I thought regular green beans, I could plant in those. Where I have my flowers here with them, they don't get enough sun. So I thought, I'm going to move those over to the community garden and plant them. So Henry Leslie Vermont says, I love hardneck garlic. Me too. It's my favorite. Alpine Gulch, how are you? My indoor sweet potatoes are blooming thanks to your advice. Yay! And I said sweet potatoes, and it's sweet peppers. I don't know why I said potatoes. Yay, yay, yay. Awesome. This is true garlic. Oh, garlic is almost as good as bacon. Doug and his bacon. Doug, guess what I have in my refrigerator? In fact, tomorrow it's going to go in the smoker. I am making beef bacon. Because at Albertsons, I can now buy beef bacon, 6 slices. Now they are thicker. So it's like twice as thick wide as regular bacon. You get 6 slices, $9.99. I just can't pay it. I just can't do it. And I love bacon, but I don't eat pork. And so beef bacon works for me for a BLT and for eggs. Charmaine says, I didn't know that about garlic. I will send pictures. Please do. And Todd Rennie, how are you, young man? Thanks for coming in. Joe is at his jiu-jitsu class because he's there on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Not always on Thursdays, but it always goes on the Tuesday. And he is official 2nd degree black belt. The paperwork came in the mail. And so he's official. So that is very exciting, I think. And, it's just, Joe is 3 years older than me. And to pursue that dream farther, I think is great. He helps teach classes. He helps those young people. Sorry. He teaches them self-defense. It's really something good to do. Sorry. Oh, and Madeline is here. Yay. I don't have a drink. Usually I have a drink here. Oh my gosh. I will tell him congratulations. Todd says he got turkey bacon. I love turkey. And I have tried all kinds of different companies that make turkey bacon. I just can't say that it's something I like. I mean, I will eat it. If I'm at somebody's house, I'll eat it. But I want it to be more bacony tasting. And I should try to make, do the whole curing process with like some turkey meat and see if I can make my own turkey bacon. Maybe that would be a good thing to try. I think so. Henry Leslie Vermont says, growing season is short here in Vermont. Are you guys zone 4 like we are, or are you zone 5, zone 3? Because, in Wyoming, we have 5, 4, 3, and 2 zones, depending on where you live. It is a big deal, and he's very excited about it. And so he showed me the thing that came. It's a great big long paper. So I'll make a mat for it and I'll frame it for him just because I think it's fabulous. I really like your hair. Oh, thanks. It's getting longer all the time. And it is getting more gray all the time. But that's just the way it is. And so hello. Doug says, yuck, turkey bacon is not real bacon. Well, beef bacon isn't real bacon either, but I still like it. So I will tell Joe, congratulations. Thank you. Because, a lot of times when you get older and you retire, and maybe some of you guys that are retired in here, because I know some of you are retired in here, you kind of get this idea. And in fact, I fight myself that, I'm 65. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do those big dreams anymore. But I don't think that's right. Like the Colonel from Kentucky Fried Chicken didn't even start selling his chicken till he was in his 60s. There's all kinds of famous companies that they didn't start until they were 50s, 60s, 70s before they started, and they dreamed those big dreams. Teresa says, no pork for me. Ann says, I figure at least I have hair. Yeah, eat what you like. More piggy banking for me. That's right. Everybody has their things that they like and they don't like, and they eat and they don't eat. And it's not right or wrong. It's just what's right for you. So yes, love your hair. I watch a YouTuber that colors the top of her hair pink. She's awesome and fun. Well, how fun is that? My one friend that lives down by in Alabama, she used to live here. She is forever dyeing her hair. She'll post a picture and it's purple and it's pink, and we're about the same age. And she has really short hair and kind of spikes up, and she has all these different colors. It's just adorable on her. Me, I'm not sure I want to do pink or purple hair, but it's really cute on some people. So that's right. Moses didn't start the ark. No, not Moses, Noah, until he was 80. Was he 80? I have to think about that. But I know he was way up there like that. But it was Noah that started. Yeah, Moses went back to Egypt when he was 80. So there's a lot of things. I remember a friend of mine years ago. Their dad was 80, 82 years old, and he flew over to Europe and he bicycled through Europe for the summer. And I thought that was just such an inspiration that it doesn't matter how old you are. If you have a dream, you just go do it. It doesn't matter if your kids agree, all your friends think you're crazy, your family thinks you're crazy. If it's a dream that you think is important to you, why not go for that? I want to live on a farm. Joe does not want to live on a farm. And so it was always a little contention, because he always knew I wanted to live on a farm. But then one day I thought, I don't have to, I could still have a farm. I wouldn't have to necessarily live on that farm. I just want to be able to have my chickens and all my different things. So a friend of mine who is a realtor is literally looking for land for me. I said, I don't want it too far out of town. If it has water, that's great. Otherwise, I can haul water. But I want to have an apple orchard. I want to grow tons of garlic so that I can sell it. These are dreams that I have, And so you have to really think, okay, your spouse doesn't want to live this way. He wants to live in town. That's okay. How can I still have my dreams too and be together? So that's what my friend is looking for, some land for me. I said, I don't need a lot. I just need something that's, if I have to start with 1 acre, if I can start with 10 acres, these are all good. Charmaine says that she knew that. I knew that you knew that. Sometimes I do the same thing. I type or I say the wrong word, and that's not what I mean. How is my mom and dad? My mother and father are in Colorado right now. They have gone to a Doe's Elks convention. My mom at one time was the national president for the Does. That's the women part of the Elks Club. And so she always goes to the conventions. And anymore, a lot of times if it's a long ways away, she just flies. My dad doesn't go. But it was in Colorado, so they drove down there. And my dad called me on the phone and said, just want to let you know we were here. We got here. Everything's good. I'll call you when we're leaving. I said, okay. My dad is 93. And my mom is soon to be 86. And they've always been this way. They have always just gone all over the place. I mean, they've been to probably half the countries in the world. And my mom always says, before I met your father, I hadn't been out of the state of South Dakota. So I always think that's funny because she just goes everywhere. Anne says, one of these days, you and I should surprise live around the hay bale game with washed out pink hair. And I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I know some people, even some of my girls have at different times dyed their hair and it looks cute on them. I just can't do it. I just can't do it, Anne. I'm sorry. I'm disappointing the peas in the pod. That I should have a she shed on my farm. Well, see, I have a lot of plants already. In Wyoming, you can get a grant for a greenhouse. I mean, a big greenhouse, like 40 by 80 feet, 35 by 80 feet, a great big greenhouse. There are things you have to do. You have to do reports for 3 years and you have to show how you're selling it, that kind of stuff. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a pink wig. That I would do. So I have this whole picture of rows of apple trees and then growing my garlic and onions in between there. Because you can grow garlic for about 4 or 5 years in the same section. Then you have to move it. So I figure I can rotate that with the onions. And because our clay soils are perfect. We have the right amount of minerals in our clay soils to grow fabulous garlic. I mean, fabulously big garlic. And I want to do that, I already have a name for my garlic company. I already have a name for my apple company. These are dreams that I want to do. And so just because I'm 65 years old doesn't mean I can't do those dreams. Seriously. And I told my friend, that's my realtor friend that's looking for me, I said, I would even take lease land that after 20 years, if I didn't want to do it, I said, I need a long lease, 10 years with the option of 10 more years. And then they can have the trees. And so I think it's a win-win. How many apple trees now? Well, I have all those ones that I'm putting into the raised beds just so that they can grow for a year. So actually, I have 50. I have close to about 375 apple trees. Now, the little ones that are just going into the raised beds for a year so that they can grow, there's some really rare types that I will plant in the yard, but the rest of them I'm going to sell. But I want them, 5 feet tall before I start to sell them. And so the ones in the raised beds are 8 inches apart, but all they have to do is grow there for a year, or maybe 2 years, and then I will lift them up and I'll be able to sell those. So it's crazy. Charmaine says, I wouldn't either. I just let the grays come down. That's what I'm doing. See? And actually, when you look in parts of it in the underneath, you can see a lot of the grays coming in there, down there too. But I do love gray hair. And so I know. Well, I won't get apples from those because it takes depending on the apple tree, anywhere from 3, 5 to 10 years, depending on the apple tree, to produce actually. So all they're going to do is grow. And so it will just be fine. Teresa says, I want 4. Henry Leslie Vermont says, we rotate our garlic as well. I do too. All the research that I've done, you can, when you're doing large scale garlic, the rows can last 4 to 5 years maybe, but then it's better to move them. And so a lot of times they do them in these rows that are 4 feet across, huge long rows, and then they either have grass or flowers on either side. So what I want to do is rows of garlic, onions, garlic, and then move them every so often so that it's always rotating. So I'm totally excited about that. And look I started talking about garlic and apples and it's 35 minutes. It's crazy. I got to go. You guys got to go. You guys have lives. There's things to do. Doug says, I can't wear red shirt anymore because little kids just want to sit on my lap and tell me what they want for Christmas. I could see that, Doug, because you look like a little Santa Claus. If you had that suit on, I would believe that you were Santa Claus. Let me show you one more thing before we go. Actually, I'm going to show you two more things before we go. This is my raised bed that I just planted. I love it. Everything is literally settled in, and it's just perfect next to my greenhouse. So I'm totally excited about that. So the other thing I want to show you is that I sold every one of these that I made of my glass pieces. And I made a new one with the hills and the aspens that I actually like even better. And so I just thought I'd show those to you because, like, I don't have enough things to do. So, of course, I am going to do glass and everything else. But thanks for stopping by. You don't even know how much I appreciate you guys. It's just beyond words. So I hope everybody has a good night. I am going to do my little close thing if I can find it. Oh, there it is. So everybody, have a great night. Love ya.